It is not about how much data you have collected. It's about how you process it and output it to your audience. Microsoft Excel has been proven to be exceptionally powerful in data analysis. You can use it to process all your data into reasonable results so that your audience can have a better understanding of your outputs. In this video, I want to share with you 5 tips and tricks to enhance your experience in data processing and outputting of your results. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Rashid and welcome back to Epic Mentorship. If you are new here, consider liking and subscribing to our channel to keep enjoying related useful videos from us. Enough of the talking. Let's get started with the tips and tricks that I have for us today. First tip that I have for us today is on how to remove duplicates within a particular data. So assuming within this data, there are duplicates within rows and columns, and we want to remove those duplicates. So all you need to do is to first start by selecting the data you want to remove the duplicates from. And then you navigate down to here to the data tab and you move all the way down here. You can see remove duplicates. Okay. So on clicking to remove duplicates, it's going to ask you to define what kind of duplicate. So the duplicate is going to look into columns P down to profit. Wherever there is a duplicate, you remove that particular column. That particular column that coincides with all these columns and is duplicated should remove. Okay, so once we click on OK, we discover that one item was removed. Okay, so let's do that again. And this time we will select, it should remove any duplicate that appears within these 3 columns, P, P2, and B. Okay, so we deselect this and this. So whenever we have a particular data that repeats and have these 3 columns repeated, you should remove that particular data. So clicking on OK, it's going to remove 2 data. So something like that. So you can remove your duplicates accordingly within your data using the remove data option. Okay, the next tip that I have for us is called the flash fill. Flash fill is a very useful feature that is incorporated in Microsoft Excel. So for example, what flash fill does is understand a given trend and it automatically fills in the remaining ones for you. So assuming this is the list of first name and this is a list of last name, and I want to give in a list of full name combining the first name and the last name. So assuming I want to put Abu Musa, and I want to come over to the second one and put Hassan, and the flash fill would quickly detect that. It will understand the trend that I'm taking the first and the last name. So once you understand that and you hit enter, it's going to automatically fill up the rest for you. Okay, so it's going to directly take in the first and last name and bring them into the full name option. Okay, so if you don't have it in your Microsoft Excel, you can easily activate this feature by coming to File here and then moving over to Options and coming to Advanced, and you make sure that this automatically flash fill is selected, and you will be able to have this flash fill option to enjoy. It's a very handy feature in Microsoft Excel. The next tip that I have is called autofill. Okay, autofill, for example, I put in a trend, I want to put in numbers 1, 2, and I want to number directly down. Once I put the beginning of the numbers, it will easily understand the flow, and once I select this and drag from this end, it's going to give me a row of numbers. Okay, once I hit and once I release, it's going to give me an array of numbers from 1 to 17, for example. And you can do the same thing with months. Okay, you can say January, and once we type February here, it's going to understand that we are typing a list of months, and we just hold and drag, and it's going to give us January to December, and once you get to December, it will restart again. Okay, So you can do that across columns and across across the horizontal direction, across rows as well. Okay. So once you select, you come over here, you can drag. You can do the same for weekdays, dates, and time. So for example, I put Monday, Tuesday. All right. It's going to understand this flow. And once I select and drag, it's going to give me a fill up the rest for you. Okay. But once it gets to Sunday, I have to still restart again from Monday and then down continuously. So this is a very easy feature to use to save yourself time while you are entering your data in Microsoft Excel. All right, the next tip that I have for us is actually how to transpose data, or what we call switching the rows and columns within a particular data. So assuming in this case, I have the rows labeled P, P2, B, S, and profit, and then I have the columns labeled this way, and I want to exchange the rows to come over to replace as columns and the columns as rows. I can do that by simply selecting the data, right? Copying them. For example, I want to paste it here. So instead of pasting directly, I can right click and say paste spatial. Okay. So in paste spatial, I can come over here and click on transpose. Okay. Once I hit on transpose and click OK, it's going to automatically assign or reshuffle the data, and the rows is going to come back to columns and the columns to rows. Very easy and handy tool. All right, the last tip that I have for us today is actually how to freeze pane. Freeze pane is very important, especially when you have a huge range of data. So for example, I'm entering this data within this particular worksheet, and I understand that if I scroll down, my top pane that I'm using as a guidance, Monday, weekdays, and this month, when I scroll up, I'm going to miss those numbers, and I will not know whether at this point I'm in Monday or in Friday. I have to always come down to see, and maybe I have to select to be able to know what I'm actually on. So it's going to disappear. Once I scroll down, it's going to disappear, right? And once I scroll to the horizontal, this particular pane is going to go off, and I will not be able to know exactly on what point am I within the data. So I will always have to come back to it to check and then go back and see what I'm working on. So actually there is a way to fix this pane, this particular first row, and this particular first column, so that you can be able to know what you are working on directly. So that option is called the freeze pane. So all you need to do to access it is from the home tab, you navigate to view, and you can come down here to freeze pane. Okay. So freeze pane, once you click on this drop down menu, you should be able to freeze both at a time, rows and columns, or you can freeze top row. Okay. You can freeze the top row by clicking this, and it's going to freeze this particular top row. So once you are moving your data, the top row is going to remain fixed, so you will know exactly where you are entering your data. And you can do the same for the first column to your right. Okay, so you can also come over to freeze and freeze the first column. Okay, you freeze the first column, and as you are moving your data, you notice that the first column stays. So it's serve as your guidance as you are entering your data. So I think this is a very handy feature for users of Microsoft Excel, and you can always unfreeze when you are done simply by coming over here and increasing and clicking on unfreeze pane. So all the panes that have been freezed before will be unfreezed. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with me up to this point, and I do hope that you have learned something today. If you do, kindly feel free to share with your friends. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay connected with this channel for more of our useful videos. Remember to apply these tips and tricks in your next data analysis so that you can enhance your output for your readers to better understand your results. I will see you in my next video. Bye.